All right, you guys, welcome to the week. Good morning. How is everybody doing? Welcome in. This is Monday. Let's see what's going on. This week in Pathfinders, we will be talking more about the nature spirits. I'm going to bring in trees. I'm going to talk about earthing, which is a great practice to learn how to do. So we'll be talking all about that stuff in Pathfinders this week, plus taking your questions. If you have any questions you want to ask about the spiritual path or about your astrology or whatever you like, please come along. Thursday in my astrology group, and for the rest of the year, I am going to be taking on each one of these major transits. Pluto moving into Aquarius is coming first. I'm going to talk to you about what that might look like in your particular life. So we will be looking at Uranus and Neptune in the coming weeks, and also Saturn. Saturn changing and moving into the Aries energy. That won't happen until 2026. So we'll get to that one later in the year. But Pluto immediately changing and moving into Aquarius is going to warrant our attention. So jump on to my astrology groups. There's a link below. Let's see what's going on. Oh, look at that. That's Aquarian energy. Thinker. Very logical. I almost feel like Spock a little bit with Aquarius. I do have a lot of Aquarius in my chart, and it is something that is rational. It is about the collective. It is about balancing things out, and that is going to be coming for us as a species, as a culture, as a country. We are going to be benefiting, I believe, in terms of Aquarians. Really very strong focus on justice, human justice, social justice, whatever that's going to be. And this, in a personal way, this is really about let's align with what we really want to create in this life. Let's really give it some thought, because Pluto in Aquarius is going to be there for 20 years. And so this is kind of, Pluto is slow grinding change, but it's change that makes an impact. It's also lasting change, right? And it's in the energy of Aquarius, which is fast change. So things can change very abruptly. And I've been talking about this for a while, that next year there is going to be an opening or a shift in consciousness that is going to bring about this unity feeling, which is at this stage of the game, when you're watching this in October, November of 2024. I know that feels like a foreign concept, but I am seeing that coming down the road. And I'm like, I don't know how we get there, but that's what's coming. All right. So co-create. Yep. Got to be on the same page to co-create. That's for sure. Imagine. More Aquarian energy there. And wow. Okay. John Lennon channeling through right now with Imagine. Every time I see that, that card, I always think about his vision. John Lennon was shot in 1980 on the eve of my birthday, December 8th. And that was a very impactful moment for me, because it was, someone who was, had a message of peace. And I didn't particularly like John Lennon at the time. I remember my musical tastes were elsewhere. But his blend of Eastern philosophy, bringing that back into the Western world, was a big influence on the Beatles later, in the near the end of their tenure as the full four guys band. And his interest, and Paul McCartney too, interest in Eastern philosophy played a big role. So I feel like we're going to see a resurgence of that. We're going to see a resurgence of a desire of peace. So less about saber rattling and more about how do we create lasting peace. That is going to be coming in. Really beautiful energy here. 9 of Wands. If we do what we've always done, we're going to get what we've always got. Okay. And right now we are at probably the most divided moment in our history. 8 of Swords. Look at that. 6 of Pentacles, the 10 of Wands, and then the Ace of Cups. So that is just this beautiful energy of, a lot of people on this planet feeling very betrayed or alone or hurt or abused or overwhelmed, all of the above. And I've been talking with you guys for a long time, y'all on the spiritual path. This is our moment. Okay. This is our moment to really shine bright and offer the energy of unconditional love and what that looks like. Okay. And, there is such a thing. If justice is to prevail, there must be accountability. There cannot be no accountability. Um, so there needs to be some kind of alignment and coming together behind a direction forward. And I feel like a lot of, a lot of what is influencing people is what they're consuming, their media diet. Okay. What is your media diet? What are you spending time with? Right. I've talked about my hideous Twitter feed and some of the other things. It's like or Facebook, social media, traditional media. Y'all know I used to work in traditional media, and just this sense of like, what is that going to look like going forward? Because it's not going to look like what we have right now. I'm telling you, it's not going to look anything like that. So let's see what else is coming in. Page of Cups, King of Cups, Three of Pentacles. This is on a different level. I feel like there's going to be a reconciliation, people reconciling, people wanting to reconcile. There's apologies happening. There's a sense of, you're not alone, a sense of let's build something together, the Three of Pentacles. And just on a personal level, you may have let go of some relationships that may come back around. This could be friendships, anything, right? Could be any kind of relationships. Five of Wands, the Lovers card, and the Eight of Cups. So there's definitely a reunion here happening, some kind of reunion. 10 of Cups, Page of Wands, and the Judgment card. Absolutely. So I like this. I love this kind of this energy of peace. That makes me feel good. That makes me feel like there's a path forward that is going to be amenable and accessible and openly loving. There are definitely a lot of people on this planet, Five of Wands, who would be against the concept of peace. And like, the more you wean off a media diet that has to do with hate, anger, fear, raging, grievances, the more you move yourself away from that kind of energy, the more there's going to be an opportunity for new kinds of decisions. Okay, new kinds of decisions. And it's like, okay, I don't just want to, yell and scream about something. I want to actually do something. And that might be where we all meet, because I just feel like that's the place of forward progress. Like, it can't just be, you shouting into the chasm by yourself and me feeling afraid over here and me being overwhelmed at the situation over here. Like, that's not progress. And we are definitely, as Pluto moves into Aquarius, Pluto is about deep and abiding change. Aquarius is the energy of healing. Every time I pull that star card, that's Aquarian energy. It's healing, it's hopeful, it's future oriented. And I do feel like there is going to be some kind of accountability for the past, because there needs to be a mending or a healing. All right, there needs to be that. Talk to me about this Five of Wands. Fool, Queen of Cups, Six of Swords. Look at that. And the Four of Pentacles. All right. So before we get there, what it seems to me is that there's a sense of like going in two different directions. Now you can see how this would be, I can see how this would be our country right now. If you're not in the US, you may not feel this way. There may be different experiences that you're having, but there's something here about us going in two different directions. And I feel like if you're a student of history like I am, and you take a look at, what has gone on since the 1980s, since we've, I'll talk more about Pluto in Sagittarius, which is before. I've talked a lot about Pluto getting into Capricorn. And that was the banking crisis, all of these institutions. Do we want to save them? Do we want to collapse them? People building tons of wealth, hierarchical, crushing people who don't have that, like all of that kind of thing. Pluto is very karmic. If you use, and Pluto's all about power. It's like if you use your power for positive things or for the expansion of another person or for love or for healing, whatever, good on you, good karma. If you're using your power to crush people, not so much. And, I do believe you're going to see the accountability because it does feel like Pluto in Capricorn at 29 degrees right now, and then in Aquarius, we're talking about very visible. Okay, so Capricorn is the energy of that 10th house. It's the most visible, right? It's the most visible. It's the time when the sun is at the height in the middle of the day. It's like the most visible. That's why the 10th house is about our reputation and our career. It's like how we shine in the world. And then the 11th house is about the collective and our social networks and what we belong to and who we connect with most elegantly and most easily. And I just feel like this is going to be a very visible karmic expression of Pluto. That there will definitely be something like that. So I feel like because we're going in two different directions here, there's a moment of pause. There's a hold on with that Four of Pentacles. Let me ask about Pluto, and I'll talk more about this in the extended. I'll talk more about Pluto and Sagittarius. What set all this up, right? Because you can remember going back to 2008, but Pluto was in Sagittarius. I believe it started in 1995. So, these big, giant transits are generational in nature, and they also really impact your life for 15 or 20 years. When we have Pluto moving into Aquarius, that's going to be for the next 20 years. Okay. So it's going to impact you almost like a natal chart planet because it's going to be there for so damn long. It's going to impact you and all the other transits coming around, impact your birth chart in a big way. So I want to ask about this moment in time when there's a hold on. Okay. And that's the thinker. It's like, what do we want to do here? What do we stand for? Empress. Oh, yes. Divine Feminine, King of Wands. I like that. 10 of Swords and the 9 of Swords. So there is going to be, right, there is going to be the ending of some kind of karma, the very visible 9 and 10 of Swords of accountability. We will see that, and we will make choices that are going to take us in I feel a very positive direction with this sun. But I also feel like there's going to be time when certain things are ended, when certain cycles are ended, right? We have the 8 of Swords. I've got the 9 of Swords and 10 of Swords here. I've got the 9 and the 10 of Wands. We're definitely coming to the end of some kind of cycle. And it's not going to be, it's really a new path. The 6 of Swords and the 8 of Cups here. And it's a much more collective path. Now, you don't need a tarot reading to tell you that. I just was telling you about us moving forward in Aquarius, but Pluto in Aquarius. But there's like a lot more to it, and there's the other planets are in different places during that whole transit. So you kind of have to track and see over the course of the time what's really going on. And there's a very easy way to do this. Back in 2008, when Pluto moved into Capricorn. Okay, that's your beginning date. So what were the themes in your life between 2008 and right now? What happened? What did you see most obviously? And in my life, I see toxic partners, toxic love partners, dealing with expanded narcissistic personalities. I saw that a lot. Like it just really exploded in my life, and a complete financial near collapse and then rebirth. All right, I saw that for myself. The reason I saw that for myself is I noticed that it was that energy of Capricorn is in my second house. So there's something here about values and what you put value in, and your money and how you earn your money, and also what you're willing to incorporate in your life. Is it aligned with your values or is it not aligned with your values? So there's a lot to look at when you're, I mean, we're talking about 15 years here. We're talking about a big giant cycle. But this is your homework. It's to take a look at the time between 2008 and 2024. And I want you to give yourself some time to kind of timeline that all out and see what those themes really were. And then line them up with where it is in your birth chart. All right. Where is Capricorn in your birth chart? Because that's where Pluto is transiting through. What house is ruled by Capricorn? What house is on that cusp, that beginning cusp? Because that's the place that is going to be impacted. Then now, where are we going? We're going Capricorn is, or sorry, Pluto is going into Aquarius. That would be the next house, right? So if Capricorn rules your third house, there's going to be problems with siblings. All right. There's going to be a need for you to speak up. Third house is about communication. There's going to be maybe issues around you having to experience something in order to learn it versus, kind of book learning, right? Which is ninth house, which is higher education. This is more about experiential learning. A lot of things you might find that's been part of your life if you have Capricorn in that third house. So Capricorn in that third house, ruling that third house. Now Aquarius ruling, let's say, the fourth house. Okay, that's going to be really different. That fourth house is about how we feel nurtured. And where's home? So Pluto moves into the fourth house for the next 20 years. I could almost guarantee you that you're not going to be living in the same house or in the same location, even maybe not even in the same country. So that's what I'm going to do this week in my astrology group. I just wanted to give you a little sense of that, and I will talk more in the extended about Pluto and Sagittarius, like kind of how we got here. All right, and let's see where we're going because we've got two of these moving on cards, and I've also got this Ace of Cups about where we are going. All right, so let's take a look at that. Link is below if you want to continue on with me. Pathfinders, let's just keep going. All right, I hope you enjoyed that video. If it was helpful to you, please consider liking this video and sharing it with anybody who might have a need for similar kind of information. And if you like this video, check out these videos.